Hey y'all, welcome back to Chat with Coach Amy. Today I have another set of precious clients that have been with me for a rather long time. And so I'm going to introduce you to Mandy. I think she's the winner of this group for sure. She's been with me since November of 2020. So almost, I don't know when this airs. There she is. Yeah, hey, there's Gina. So Mandy, you don't win.
Oh,
You don't win.
that's okay.
Gina wins. There's Gina. Yay. We're so glad to have you, Gina. I am recording right now, just so you know. So Mandy has been with me since November of 2020. I'm going to ask y'all a question as we let Gina come in. It's okay. It's okay. So Mandy, how did you find me and what made you choose Southern and Healthy?
I found you on Facebook. It must have been in the main THM group, but it looked fun, to be honest with you. There was just something about you that I was like, this is like, I've never done coaching before, like hadn't even thought about coaching. Something you had posted, I'm like, I need her as a coach. And so That's when I joined, and I don't see any change of that happening.
Oh, love that. Your hair has gotten so long.
It's collagen.
Yeah, girl, that's right. I love it. Okay, so we'll go back. Gina, I said the winner of who's been with me the longest right now was Mandy, but when you popped in, you beat her. Gina's been with me since June of 2020. I started a fun group that was summer COVID craziness. And I just felt like people needed something fun and exciting and inspirational because a lot of people were in their kitchens doing all the things, And so I just did a thing called Cooking with Coach Amy, and Gina found me then, right?
I did, yeah.
And she hadn't stopped. God love her. So why did you pick me for that session and then just couldn't let go? Bless it.
Me?
Yeah.
So I had chose you earlier than that, but you were full. So I just kept stalking you, and Southern is, completely who I am. And so I thought that would just be the best fit for me. And then whenever you launched the Cooking with Coach Amy, that's the best way that I learn. A lot of people can learn from reading and studying and all of that. And in my day-to-day job, that's what I do all day long, is read and analyze and dissect by reading. And so I wanted something that was easier for me. And so Cooking with Coach Amy was easy. Like, you were doing it and it was all laid out for me. All I had to do was follow along. And I tried things that I had never thought I could do. That was just, cooking was not my thing. It's still not my thing, but I'm a lot better at it now than what I was back then. So yeah, that's how I found you, and that's how I stalked you. And then now I just don't know how to quit.
That's okay. And I think you win the award because you came right on to my house one day. I mean, we were just talking. She's like, I'm coming to New Orleans. I'm like, well, then you need to come to my house. What is wrong with you? And they did. And we just talked forever. Her teenagers played with my little boys. It was darling. So anyway, y'all are all very special. And Carol, I owe you an apology because Mandy, you weren't the winner a while ago. The winners ranking in this one goes, if they're, y'all know, I'm just being silly. Gina, then Carol began in September 2020, then Mandy in November, and Miss Beth, we're going to get to you, bless her. She just didn't know me, and we were how far away do we live? 40 minutes away from each other. So Carol, do you mind sharing just a little bit? Carol actually has 2 podcasts, right? You have 2?
Yep, I do.
Yeah. You know me right now, these facts are not straight, so y'all gonna have to help me. I got to drink some more coffee. So what made you choose Southern and Healthy?
Well, you know that I was in a very low place because my mom had just passed away, and I thought I need to do something to get my life going the right direction. I was scrolling Facebook, I saw your crustless pizza and your spunkiness, and I thought I need to get this lady as my coach. And like, the cutoff was that next day or that day, something. And I was lucky enough to get a spot, and I've been here ever since.
I love it. I love your story. It's the best. One day I'm gonna hug your neck. Bless.
I know. One day. I
One
can't
day
wait
I'm
for
gonna
that
get up
day.
there where y'all are. I'm gonna get up there one day. I told Wes I have dreams. He was like, okay. All right. And now we got Mama Beth. Mama Beth that lives not far from me. I think I've gotten to see her more than any of y'all. Sorry. Gina, I think I've seen you 3 times.
Yep.
So, Mama Beth, tell your story on how you came upon me.
I came upon Amy by a client of hers, Amy Green, and Amy had been dealing with inflammation. I had been dealing with inflammation, and I could see that Amy Green was doing so much better. And I just asked her, I said, what are you doing? And she said, I'm not going to tell you what I'm doing. I'm going to connect you with Coach Amy Gaskin. That is where you need to go. So that began it. And I have stuck with it and have no plans of leaving.
Oh, y'all are just the best. Thank you so much. Okay. One more sip of coffee. Who's going to go first asking me questions?
I'll go first.
I will.
Okay, we'll go with Mandy. We'll do Mandy,
Okay.
Beth, Carol, and Gina, because I don't even know that Gina knows that's what we're doing. I don't even remember if I told you.
You didn't tell me that part.
I know, it's okay. So you're just asking me questions. It doesn't really matter. Maybe something, you'll probably get ideas when they start going, but questions that you might know the answer to, Gina, but you think others should know about me, if that makes sense. All right, go ahead, Mandy.
Okay. So I know with 100 Days Strong right now, one of your challenges is a fuel pulse snack on a daily basis.
Mhm.
What's the importance of a fuel pulse snack? And going further with that, should we be having one on a daily basis or so many per week?
So that is a very difficult challenge for me. Since I've gotten to goal weight, I will say, and I don't know how many days are we in. What is today? Today, while we're recording, is the 16th. So we are on day 24 of the 100 Strong. So for 24 days, I haven't had mine yet. So I'm about to when I get through with y'all guys. But it just it's just a really great way to lighten your caloric load in your day. But for me, it's a challenge because I have gotten used to just having S and E. Sometimes I'll do crossovers. Y'all know I don't do them very often. But fuel pulls are something I might reserve for that early morning cup of coffee or the late night after dinner thing. So nestling it in between my lunch and supper is a huge challenge. It for real is a challenge because I want to have something to eat. But today I have a fuel pull pound cake is it Rural Routed Dakota? Is that what her little blog is? It's something, it's those words together, but she has a fuel pull pound cake and it's very good. I made it this summer. But what is important about that, like I said, is lighten your caloric load. And I think for a higher learning or a next level THMer, I think it's a good challenge to do 5 out of 7 days. It's going to speed up weight loss as well because you're having that lighter calorie meal, but you're saving it for that afternoon snack. And when a lot of times we don't have a big of a window between lunch and supper. And so it is good. Maybe you've got 5-6 hours. It's great to stick that fuel pull afternoon snack there to keep your metabolism going. Yep. Does that answer your question well? Did I do good?
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, Mama Beth, we'll do you next.
All right. I know that we just recently celebrated your 6th anniversary of GHM.
Mhm.
And so during those 6 years, did you ever reach a stall? And if you did, how did you stay positive during that stall?
Good question. So my 6-year trim anniversary will be in January. We celebrated my 3-year coach anniversary the other day. So, but it's fine. You're not expected to keep up with all that because I mean, I messed up all kinds of things while ago, bless America. But I will say that I did hit a stall and I've also hit spots where I've gained and couldn't figure it out. That one was the most difficult for me. That was actually in the fall of 2020 when my coaching was actually beginning to really boom. Gina, I'm sure remembers that very clearly because I'm like, but the Lord provided. She was a great sounding board for me as well as others. But during that gain, that's when I realized my Hashimoto's, which is autoimmune against your thyroid, making it low, came back. And I fought my functional medicine doctor about taking medication. And she was like, fine, you can try a supplement, but I really don't think it's going to help you. Because I also had a lot of hormone issues. And so I would like to say on the side that if you are 100% on plan with food, and if you are doing your timing where you fuel within an hour of waking and then fuel every 3 to 4 hours after that, I know y'all all know that, and you're still, maybe you put in that fuel pull afternoon snack and you're still not seeing a loss, there might be something metabolic, hormonally wrong. And hormones are thyroid, cortisol, and then the sex hormones, of course, too. But a lot of people go towards that. I need a progesterone supplement. Maybe not. Maybe it's your cortisol. Maybe your adrenals are tanked and you need help. So there's a lot of things that can go into that. But how I stay on the course now is because of all of you. We were talking about pastors, today in church, and how they have a higher level of accountability. And I'm in no way a pastor, but if you want to relate that to THM and being a coach, I feel like I have a higher level of accountability because of my clients and my followers and to the people around me. This whole I don't break promises to myself, it's been life-changing thought for me as well as others. People send me messages a lot and have been in the last few weeks since I said that, about how much that has helped them. And so I feel like that I've never really put that to paper or anything, but it's something that I've done in my life. Is if I'm going to do THM, I'm going to do THM. And it's a lifestyle. It says Trim Healthy on my lifestyle for a reason, not on a good day all the time, And so that's what I think is important. But I do think there's times in our life where there might be heavy emotional things going on, or you're overwhelmed with life and that kind of thing. And some THM practices may fall by the wayside. But I think it's important to surround yourself with supportive people. Maybe they don't do THM, but they support you. And I think it's important to have that accountability and community around you. And that's what I would say for me is the most important.
Right.
Yep. Carol?
Okay, my turn. I know you love CrossFit. Did you love it when you first began, or did it take you a little while to love it?
Oh gosh.
Because I struggle
man.
with exercise.
So no, and y'all see my before pictures. I walked in there out of pure desperation. Like I could tear up, honestly, just thinking about it, because I just needed a change in my life. And I don't know why we thought CrossFit would be the answer, but it ended up being the answer for me. The first few months were difficult because it was awkward. I was nervous all the time. I was not scared to ask questions because I was a little more bold than that. Like, I'm like, I need to make sure I'm doing this right. However, they really took care of me. And I used a PVC pipe to do everything. Now I've got weights, heavy stuff, and so I think it's important whatever exercise you're doing, if you hate it, it's probably not your thing, but there's something out there that is your thing. And I think that's why in my exercise module that y'all have all seen, I give so many ideas to try that are all free. And I think that's a great way to kind of put your toe in exercise if that's not something you're used to. I don't have time to walk 3 miles every day. I don't have time to, do different things that some of you may have time to do. And so that 5:30 a.m. CrossFit class is a constant in my life that I plan on doing as long as my body is able to. And I do find myself from time to time talking about the adrenals and things earlier, where maybe I know I don't need to push it as hard as I do sometimes. And I am very okay with that. And my whole gym is, because there are some days, I'm doing heavier weights than some of the guys, but it's because they're taking a light day. And I'm like, you go, dude, that is a great decision. And so I think that's important. I have started doing yoga a little bit because we did a little bit at CrossFit prior to workouts. And so I got an app off the app store. I don't even know what it's called, but I like it. I like the stretching and stuff. I don't do the stuff. I stop it after that, but before that happened. But I do love the stretching and the movements, and I like that I can do the hard things. That makes me really happy.
Right. Good.
Gina, bless your bones. She's gonna hate my guts.
I'm like, I did not know I was supposed to come up with a question. Okay, so for me, if you did not have your backbones, your girls, to help you with all of your prepping and planning and grocery store shopping and all the things, because there's a lot of mamas that stay at home and that can fit all of that into their day, but there's so many other mamas that are very overwhelmed with work, and it's not even the physical aspect, it's the mental aspect of working day to day. So if you didn't have the girls to help you, how would you strategize your day with planning? Would you take a day on Sunday? That's kind of how I do. Take a day on Sunday to try to game plan what the rest of the week's going to look like. But then when you come in and you have, say, a ball game that you forgot about or wasn't on the calendar, and you got to hurry, you got to figure it out. Like, what is the best way for you to plan for all of that?
That's a really good question. And honestly, our family life has changed a little bit. The girls don't do quite as much as they used to. Because Lily, my middle daughter, Lily, has a full blown, artistic business. I don't even know what to call it. She does painting and jewelry. Lily Faith Designs is her, company. I don't know what to call it. She's doing really good.
Her business, and she is doing awesome.
She is doing so good. And so I'm like, sometimes she's like, I gotta work. Like, I can't do that. And then Bella is working for me, but she's also finishing her senior year, which she'll be done in December. And Katie does do different things as well. But I definitely think a menu is number one. And if you're coaching, you get one every week. But but keep it simple on that menu. Something that I do an S and an E breakfast for the week. And if you want to cook once and eat all week, which means that you will be taking care of your future self, which I think is a really good thought to put in for this topic. So an S, breakfast casserole, crack your 12 eggs, brown your sausage, throw in a couple bags of frozen onion pepper blend, and mix that up and put it in the oven. You have breakfast made for your whole week. Put some berries with that and your collagen coffee, you're done. Every day, you got it. If you want to throw in an E breakfast, make some Auntie Pearl's muffins or another E muffin that you love. You don't even have to make muffins. You can make a 9x13 and cut that thing up. This is fine. So you can do those things. I challenge some clients that when they're making supper on Thursday night, they make the muffins alongside. And when they're cooking Friday night, they do the egg casserole, whatever, like double thing. While you're already in the kitchen, make something else. But keep those suppers simple. Do 2 crock pot. Do a ground meat crock pot and an E or something, but with chicken crock pot. That crock pot is your best friend. You don't have to have other people doing that for you. Let that crock pot do the work. Make sure it's got the protein and the veggies done. And you can eat on that for your lunches and suppers. And then also a rotisserie chicken. I think always having a rotisserie chicken in your refrigerator is very helpful. And then also stock up on those frozen veggies. So you can, excuse me, you can put some chicken nuggets in the oven for the kids. You can make a dairy-free pizza skillet in, how long does that take? 5 minutes. And then you have those frozen veggies ready to steam up, and you have supper. Very easy. And I think also, sometimes I think we need to take our preciousness down a few notches. And you might say, I don't really feel like a sandwich. Well, so what? You need to eat on plan, just make a sandwich. Like, that's how I go about my life. I don't, like today, we had chicken that really needed to be cooked. I thawed it Thursday when I was doing my live in the kitchen, and I really needed to cook the rest of that up. And I said, Wes, I really think I'm going to put the chicken on a salad. And he was like, he was like, that's fine. And I was like, you know what? Honestly, I would prefer this, but I'm just going to have a salad because I need to eat the lettuce and I need to eat this chicken, and that's kind of how I work. But I ended up making it really great because I put some crushed to oblivion THM cheesy crackers on top. and a little bit of ranch, and I had some cucumber and tomato, and it was delicious. I don't know why I was getting all salty about it because it was good. So yeah, I think having a plan. And then the grocery store thing, I'm paying for Walmart delivery, and it has changed our lives. And I've actually saved money because I'm not in the store, which I know y'all love to see my lives from when I go to the grocery store, but and it's getting busy over here in Southern and Healthy in my office over here. It's getting a little busy and it's hard to just run into the grocery store, but delivery, pickup, making a plan, and you do your grocery list off of your menu. So it's not like I got to buy all the things that all these people are eating. No, you need to buy what you need, the ingredients for what you're going to eat that week. That's what you need to buy. And I think that takes a lot of pressure off you.
Yes, it does.
I have really long answers. I can't help it. Mandy.
So kind of along that same line, what recommendations can you give for people not to get stuck in a rut? So like my family is not THM, and so we try to do like meat and veggies, or keeping it simple with like tacos, or like they'll have pasta. But it's like each week when I create a menu, it's like, what do we want for suppers this week? And it's like, oh, we just had that last week. What recommendations do you have for when you're in that rut and you're not a casserole kind of a family?
Sure.
And you don't cook out of a cookbook?
Sure. So I think that the taco idea for you, Mama, you could do up a couple of sweet potatoes and do lean taco meat, whether you do chicken or, your turkey or whatever you do. We do venison, of course, and put that taco meat on top of that sweet potato. So that changes it a little bit for you. And then maybe get them a special salsa or something so that it's just a little different. I think that's really fun to do. And just change up, just maybe try one new recipe a week. Maybe you're not cooking out of a cookbook, but you might say, oh, Amy made such and such. I think I'm going to try that this week because if Amy made it, it was easy. Promise. So I think challenge yourself on that, maybe that one night that, y'all don't have anything, and try. And guys, the THM skillet recipes typically are very simple. I do strongly encourage you to pre-read the recipe because sometimes it's like, okay, cook it in the skillet, then we're going to put it in the oven for 45 minutes. Well, that will really upset your night. So definitely pre-read those recipes. Okay. Oh, another thing before we go to Miss Beth, is do theme nights. I think that's fun. Just to kind of change it up. And I do that every now and then in coaching when I'm writing my menus, I'll do theme nights. Slow cooker Sunday.
That's a fun idea.
Meatless Monday. Of course, Taco Tuesday. I did one way back Wednesday, and it was like meatloaf because that's what your mama made. Anyway, you can do something silly like that. Miss Beth?
All right. Crossover meals is something that I've always tried to stay away from. Is there a time that you need to add a crossover meal?
I think when you are in weight loss mode, and you feel like you're going to go off plan, I think it's a good time to have a crossover. But I don't think you should do that each week personally. There's a lot of Trim Healthy Mama people that would disagree with that, and that's okay. I'm just going off of what I have seen with my clients, and crossovers for someone that is in that weight loss mode can harm them sometimes. But if it's done maybe once a month, once every few weeks, it could be helpful because it could help you get out of that rut, like Mandy was saying, where you think you are having something naughty, I guess, because for me, a crossover is naughty. And I've told this to, I don't even remember who I was talking to about it, but my recent buds groups, the last 2 or 3 actually, I have never seen that many crossovers in a week that they're having. And I'm just shocking them to death when I tell them, yes, they're on plan 100%, but that is not in the weight loss, plan of THM. But if that's what keeps people on plan, that's what keeps them on plan. I just think their loss will be slower. Now, when you get into where I am with maintenance mode, that kind of thing, I definitely think it has a place. I might have a crossover a week. So I'll do it maybe one crossover, 1 S helper. That's an S meal with a half a carb source, like half a sweet potato, 1 piece of bread. And I think those have a place. Maybe when you're celebrating, maybe your birthday or Thanksgiving. We always do Thanksgiving lunch. And, you might want to have a crossover, Christmas Day, something like that. That might be a good time. Of course, if any people are nursing or expecting a baby, you would want to have a few more crossovers than normal because you need those extra calories.
Sure. Thank you.
You're welcome. Carol?
What is your favorite part of coaching?
Oh, you. All of y'all are my favorite. And when I post things randomly on Facebook and y'all comment on them or you like them, it really brings me joy because it's like you're cheering me on. And Carol, I call her, it's funny that she asked this. I call her my cheerleader because oh my gosh. And she does that for everybody. She's everybody's cheerleader. And so I just think that's precious because sometimes I feel like I give and give and give, and it's not always like this, but I don't get back sometimes. I feel like I'm forgotten, I guess. And that's really not been recently, but it has happened before. So whenever I see y'all do that, it really warms my heart. And that's just the best. The next up would be when I get a message or I see y'all's non-scale victories, or like in Blooms, we have a first of the month post. And that's when ladies can check in and say, I've gone down 2 inches, or I have not lost any weight, but I have been on plan and I feel better than I have in my whole life, or I'm off my blood pressure medication. I'm sleeping all night, just seeing the victories. Because I said this, I think in the last one, when I passed my coaching certification test, I told Wes, I said, I just want to help one person. And God has multiplied that so many times. And it is just amazing to be a small part of all of y'all's lives. And I've even had messages from followers that have never paid me, and maybe they can't, and that's fine. That are their lives changing. That is just incredible to me. Incredible. Because I'm just like, dude, I'm just posting my lunch, or I'm just posting that we went over here, and it's helping them. And I think that's wonderful.
Well, you've changed my life for sure.
Thank you. I'm so glad. I love your fall decorations behind you. I noticed a little something back there.
Do you see that?
I do. Lily made that.
She did.
And mailed it to Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania.
I need to get a nativity one to put there for Christmas. I need to order that from her.
We'll hook you up.
Thank you. I need to get that.
Of course. Gina?
So tell me about how long it took your family, especially your girls, to jump in and be to follow you, to be more on track and to follow you. I know that they are still teenagers and they still do what teenagers do, and that's okay. They'll eventually, that'll catch up with them one day, and
Right.
They'll have to do like we do. But at what point did they become more aware and start following how you do?
That's a really good question. And I will start it from the bottom. Katie is my youngest. She will be 14 in December, which is unreal. But she's my daughter that has alopecia areata. And so from the age of 5, we had been looking at a lot of different ways to help her. And I've always known that nutrition is key to everything. And so we actually did the AIP diet, which if you know anything about that, it is brutal for a 5-year-old. But she did it as long as she could. And finally, one day she said, Mama, I just can't do this anymore. I'm like, me either. It's okay. You don't have to. But when we found THM, I'm like, Katie, I think that we can do this. And so she'll tell you, I've done 2 mother-daughter groups, and they go live with me and talk and share. And she actually recorded a podcast with me a while back because I didn't have anybody lined up and she was the only one home. I went, will you come here and let me interview you for my podcast? But anyway, she's like, yeah, sure. And she is the most vocal of my children about this kind of stuff. but she's not 100%. None of the three of them are. But she does know she needs to limit sugar. She also knows dairy is not her friend. And but all three of them know that protein is important and vegetables are important and eating on time is important. And I am super proud of that. Lily, she is pretty much the same as Katie. I would say that Katie has a little more of a drive to be healthier because of her health issues. But Lily knows that eating what we would call off-plan foods does not make her feel good. And so if she's at a birthday party, she's not going to get the same amount of cake and ice cream as other kids typically, in my experience with her. Now, Bella, my oldest, bless her bones, she's got a sweet tooth like her Riri, and she just can't help it. And she loves the Dave's Killer Bread has their white bagels. I don't know what they're exactly called, but she loves them things with some cream cheese on it. And I'm like, you need some protein. She's like, I know, I'm going to get a yogurt. Or she'll do the chocolate collagen in warm milk. She doesn't really like coffee. Lily likes coffee. She actually made me this coffee I'm drinking. She's like, Mom, I need coffee. I was like, girl, you better hook me up with some. But Bella still does well with the protein and fueling on time, which I think is a huge feat for a teenager, because I know when I was a teenager, it was just like, I might eat once a day because I didn't want to have too much food or whatever. But it was a double cheeseburger and a large fry and a huge Dr. Pepper that I was having once a day. I was tiny, but I definitely wasn't healthy. And so I'm just really proud of that. And they do drink mostly water. We don't have, we call all pop or soda Coke here. Everything's Coke. We don't drink Cokes here at our house. But they do sparkling water. They love vitamin water zero. They love the hydrates. So I'm really proud about that. And they're not afraid to try any of the sweet things. They are totally fine with any THM like supper or lunch recipe or breakfast. Like the mini quiches from Trim Healthy Future, like they ate them all. I'm like, girls, those were mine. But they loved them. And so I'm very proud of that. Mandy?
So Carol asked you about your favorite part of coaching. What's your biggest struggle with coaching?
I was afraid that was coming. My biggest struggle is when I read somebody that says I'm struggling. And it happens weekly, multiple times, because I do have a lot of clients. I'm struggling, blah, blah, blah. And I just want to get in my car and go to their house and put them in my lap and rock them. You know, that's what I want to do. And it just breaks my heart to see that. And I just do my best. Sometimes I feel like I'm out of encouraging words. I'm like, I don't know what else I can tell y'all. And so I just start repeating myself, because I've been told that that's what y'all need to hear. And so that's what I do. Because, you know, Wes has to tell me every day that he loves me. And so I feel like I need to tell y'all every day that you can do this and you are worth it. And so I do. I tell y'all I love you every time, don't I? Every time. I love y'all. You are loved. Even if you don't think anybody else in the world loves you, you better know that I do. And it's true. And it's people I've never laid eyes on like this. You know, I do. I love them. And I desire for all women that come across anything that I do, I don't care where it is, podcast, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, wherever else I am, that they are loved by me, because that is what I want them to know, and that they are worth making these hard decisions so that they can have an abundant life, because that's the whole point. The next thing that's hardest is when a client doesn't see success and they quit. That is very difficult for me. And then the next thing would be when I notice that a client has gone to another coach, and that's just me being vulnerable. I know y'all have heard me say, I'm realizing that I'm not everybody's cup of tea, and that's okay. But it does, Satan can definitely use that to make me feel like a failure, but I'm learning that I'm not, that it just wasn't a good fit, or they need someone else's expertise. Simple as that. Simple as that. And so I'm learning to be okay with that. Is that a good answer?
That's a great answer. And we love you, hence the fact that we've been with you for a bajillion years.
That's right. That's right. I'm going to actually make a list of all of y'all's names and say they are still here. I love it. Thank
You
you.
aren't getting rid of me.
Miss Beth, do you have another question?
I do. One thing that I love about THM is that you don't have to buy any special ingredients. You don't have to, and you're not buying prepackaged foods. You're eating real food. But THM does offer, supplements and different things that we can order. What are your top 3 items that you use from THM?
So I would say the Fuel Pull brownie bars, which that's something I press in to eat. I do not like the way they taste. Because somebody's like, how do you eat this? I'm like, it's fuel. It is a vehicle for protein to get into my body. And I mean, they're not terrible, but excuse me, Coach Canada's peanut butter is very helpful. And if you're going for an S, I like the little Justin's packets of peanuts only peanut butter. Like I can put that when we were at Dollywood and there was nothing in that place for me to eat last year. I was panicking. I remembered that I had put a THM brownie bar and a pack of peanut butter because they were all eating all the things at the Dollywood. And I was like about to cave, and I was 100 days on plan. And I was like, by golly, I'm not doing it. I'm not going on plan in this place. So anyway, I had that and it really helped me so much. So the Fuel Pull brownie bars, I would say the collagen because I have used that every day for almost 6 years. But lately I had been having what a lot of people do experience with the THM collagen. And I'm going to give a little disclaimer and some info on this while I'm talking about it. The THM collagen is not a complete protein. And I have been using it a lot. I use it a lot, maybe twice a day for protein. And I had been having some muscle and joint pains, which is common for some people. And so I have been using Vital Proteins now in the last couple of weeks. And so that pain has gotten way better and pretty much gone. So I'm not going to say that I will never use THM collagen. I still have some. I will still use it from time to time, but I don't think it's going to be what I use when I really need a protein source because my body, because I do have so much lean muscle, I do need that full complete protein when I need it as in my only protein. Like if I'm having eggs and little bacon and I'm going to do collagen in my coffee, I'll use THM collagen. Absolutely. But for my afternoon snack where the only protein source is collagen, I think I'm going to choose Vital Proteins. And that's just where I am. You all can make your own decision, but that's what I've been doing lately. So I will say THM collagen because I have used it. It has saved me a lot. And then the next thing, golly, I'm glad it was sitting here because I was like, what am I going to do? This maple extract from THM, y'all, I love my coffee. I love it. But this is delicious and it is better than the grocery store bought maple extract. It is super good. I love it. So right now I would say those are my top 3.
Okay.
Top 4, because I'm going to have to say it, is super sweet because I don't buy grocery store sweetener. I want THMs. Carol?
For someone who might know, why is it so important that we don't eat sugar?
Oh man, because keeping your blood sugar stable is one of the pillars of Trim Healthy Mama. And that keeps your metabolism in check and also it reduces your inflammation. Sugar is also one of the most addictive substances there is. And it just really wrecks your life. And it's poison, to be honest. Your body has to do so much work when we take in sugar that white refined sugar, especially that it's just really difficult for your body to recover from that every single time you do it. And so I think that's that. And if you're wanting to really reduce your chances for disease, getting off sugar is the first thing that you can do.
Yes, for sure.
Gina? Oh, I think you're muted.
Oh, I'm muted because I thought my dogs were barking. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
There's so many people in our area currently that are on this fasting crave, where they're fasting, 12 hours, whatever. How do you feel about that, and how do you approach your clients with that, with not necessarily even just the fasting crave, but the keto crave and all these other craves of I know eating every 3 hours and fueling my body in the first hour and all of those things are so important, but how do you stay and not try to jump off and keep your clients and not jumping off?
Mhm. I think knowing the science behind it is important, but I also think that it goes back to what we've always known. Having breakfast, lunch, an afternoon snack, and dinner, which is how we fed our children, really needs to roll over into our adult lives as well. It's very important to stay fueled. We cannot run on an empty tank of gas. You have to fuel your body. There are a new group that I'm seeing. Who's laughing at me?
My daughter is listening in the background. Say it loud, Amy.
Jada, my love. The fasting part though is I would say 12 to 13 hours. I was looking at my ADAP when you were asking that question. It's usually about that long. So I just really think that whole thing where you can just reset every day, where you've recited what I've said so many times, fuel within an hour of waking up and then go every 3 to 4 hours. Because I have some clients, they're night shift ER nurses. I have some that are midwives. I have, all kinds of things. I have some that wake up at 4 o'clock every morning. I wake up maybe 6 or 7, except for CrossFit days, and go on about my business. But you cannot run on an empty tank of gas. You have to fuel your body. Did you ask about keto?
Yeah.
Okay. So with keto, and I think they just did a podcast, Serena and Pearl. I haven't listened to it, but it was about, why we need fats and carbs in our lives. And carbs, we have to have that because as women, our adrenals require carbs, and we cannot maintain all of our fabulous levels of things if our adrenals are tanked. And carbs energize our body. So if you're tired all the time, you need carbs. Okay. And it's healthy ones. That's what THM teaches. And then they also, of course, nourish your adrenals. Okay. And they boost your serotonin. So if you're a Debbie Downer, maybe you need some carbs. I just ordered a new t-shirt or tank top for CrossFit, and it says, she's not crazy, she just needs carbs. And I was like, oh, that is me. There's like, I haven't had carbs yet today, and I cannot wait for supper because I know I'm going to have some carbs, and it just worked out that way. But I just think keeping that balance is super important. And a lot of people come into THM new. Their main question is, when do I eat S? When do I eat E? And I tell them it doesn't matter. Just eat S or E every 3 to 4 hours. It doesn't matter. Some people do all day S, all day E. I would not do well on that. The all day S day, I would be like this because I need carbs. And the all E day, I wouldn't be able to think straight because my brain needs fat. And so that's my answer to that.
Thank you.
Has everybody asked 3 questions?
I think so.
Yeah, we're getting close to an hour. Does anybody else have anything else they would like to ask?
I have a final question.
Yes.
So in your 3 years of coaching, you've had a lot of milestones. What would you say is your favorite?
Gracious. I would say the ones that and this is a scale victory, and so that might shock y'all, but it rolls into you and Brittany hitting or getting close to that 75 and heading towards 100-pound loss. And that, as a coach, means that you are doing the work, and that I have been instrumental. Hopefully, I feel like I am, especially you two. I think I can say that safely.
Absolutely.
In keeping you focused and reminded you're worth it. You are loved. You can do this. It's not that hard. Keep it simple, blah, blah, blah. All the things. That right there really stands out. But overall, just seeing people not quit. Even if you quit for a few days or just a couple meals and you come back, the comeback and knowing about y'all's comebacks is amazing. Because that makes me prouder than anything. It really does. And I am inspired, by you guys doing that too. I would say the next thing is just what's most shocking to me, I guess you'd say, is the number of new clients that I get each session with Buds. Blows my mind. Gina, bless her, she's, oh heavens, she has walked me through some tears and I don't know what to do's and all this. She's like, oh no, you gonna do this, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah. And our calls kind of just go to that sometimes, bless her heart. I'm like, I need to pay you. But just seeing those numbers, and some people will say, I have heard some coaches say numbers aren't everything. They are to me, because they're women. Each number is a person. And that means I'm helping them. And if they, especially in group, if they just access that information, as y'all know, it works. And a side note to that, you can't sign up for Buds or stay or go into Blooms and that be all you do. You actually have to do things. You have to put into practice. You have to activate what I'm teaching. And then you'll see progress somehow. Your weight may not just melt off of you, but your insides are healing. They have to be. Thank you for asking that. That was good. Good to reflect. I don't think about that kind of stuff, and I need to. Anybody else? Anything else y'all want to say?
I just want to say thank you for everything you do.
You're so welcome.
Yes, thank you. You're changing lives daily.
Thank you.
That's me too. I want to say thank you. I mean, my road, it's been a rocky road. And for the most part, it's been the best ride ever. But when you hit those bumps, I know you're always right there to pull me right back up and get me straight again. And I just thank you for loving me. I mean, I really and truly know that you care and love me, and you want what's best for me. And so I don't know what I would do without you.
You're so sweet. You're so sweet.
I would say thank you for everything that you do for not only me, but for all of the ladies and for our families. By you teaching us how to be more healthy, you're helping our families, because we're going to be better for our families. And the knowledge that I've learned over the last year and a few months about food and how it heals your body has been so beneficial.
Yeah. Well, thank y'all for saying that. And speaking of families, I'll have clients, especially one-on-ones, because I talk to them, more personal, and they're like, my husband's already lost 20 pounds. I hate his guts, but I'm so happy, that kind of thing. And Erin has shared, about her husband and her son. And her son has some special needs from birth, and he has lost weight, and he's healthier, and he can tie his shoes, and he can run, he can play ball better that he does with his league. And it just is incredible, the reach that Trim Healthy Mama has gone into people's lives. And, just like me, I mean, I just found out about THM from a friend, And I love that. I love that. You just hear things randomly from people, and word of mouth is the best way. I mean, it still is. I don't care what social media says. It's still word of mouth is where you find your best stuff. And I just think that's incredible. Well, thank y'all so much for taking time out. Those of you listening, this is a Sunday afternoon. So God love y'all's hearts for taking time away from your family this Sunday afternoon for about an hour just to talk to me. I truly appreciate it. And I appreciate all of your encouragement that y'all have always given me, and your high fives and your puffy hearts, because they mean the world to me. They do. All right, let's tell them bye. Bye, y'all.
Hi, y'all.
Bye.